Hello again, everyone. Welcome to the podcast with visual aid.
Woo! We are in
Look
the
at us in all our
21st century.
glory. Yep. Look at us in all our glory. This is made by AI. These aren't real faces. These are virtual reconstructions of what AI thinks we look like.
Correct. I mean,
Yeah.
it was just based off our voices entirely, really.
Yep, perfectly cool, perfectly. This is what AI thinks we look like. And to begin today's episode, we're talking AI. Because why not? It's been in the news. OpenAI, Sora.
Yeah, so I'm pretty sure if you've heard any of our previous episodes, you would have heard probably Danny complaining about AI to an extent, how he fucking hates it entirely and he despises every part about AI. But to be honest, not all AI is bad.
Everything about all AI. It's not everything about AI. It's just stupid people in AI. That's what I hate. I just hate stupid people.
Don't we all?
Stupid, lazy people.
Yeah, so this is going to be an episode, I guess not so much giving our opinion straight away. We're going to give a bit more detail about AI in the news, maybe detail on what it is to some people, because I guess a lot of people don't know what it is. Although if you listen to this episode, you probably do have a good understanding of what AI already is.
You'd hope.
You would hope so.
I mean, if we could educate some people, why not?
We could. We never know. So let's start off. What actually is AI?
Okay. Yep, that is the history of AI right there. Look at it. Look at it in all its glory. Look at it on Wikipedia.
Yeah, so we got a few articles up. I actually did research for this episode. Can you believe it? I never do research on a podcast.
No, I've left this to Dan because
I know it's probably why it's gonna be so shit because you left it to me.
Yeah.
Who knows? But yeah, AI is pretty much summed up as a form of machine intelligence that can simulate human intelligence to an extent. Something that
it can do function.
It can do functional stuff and can also got machine learning as well, where it physically gains more information. It's not just programmed for one thing, and it can get better at doing things.
And different from just a standard AI, which is just like programmed to do one thing and one thing only.
Yeah,
so a lot of stuff does.
AI's been around for a lot longer than people think it has. Most people, if you talk to them, they think it's been around the last decade, and in fact, it's been around for like 50 years.
Yeah,
it's not a new concept. It's been around for ages.
It's also it's been in a lot of stuff you already know, and a lot of the things that corporate buzzwords are now spinning have been around for ages.
Yeah, the thing is, it's only just about got to a stage where it's kind of getting scary now, and it's getting now hard to distinguish between AI-generated content and normal AI, or previous AI, I should say. And
I'll leave this rolling on the Sky News.
Yeah.
This is the first look at OpenAI showing off their video, text to video, basically, just because it's like, this is all just created from artificial intelligence. It's probably using data sets of like real stuff.
Yeah, and don't get me wrong, there's still like a couple of scenes that you can kind of tell it looks sort of video gamey, but it also doesn't necessarily look like...
Oh god, that grandma looks terrifying.
Yeah, it does. It's a bit uncanny valley. But I think the actual non-people stuff is really hard to distinguish.
Yeah.
I'm not saying it looks real, but I'm saying like it could very easily be generated by a human making it. Like using human animations and using human-based assets.
It is impressive, don't get me wrong, but I know what it's going to be used for.
See if you can find the Will Smith video. The Will Smith eating spaghetti.
Hello, future Daniel here. We talk a lot about this clip, and it turns out that this was actually posted by Will Smith, and Dan didn't really do any research. So apologies for that. But yeah, it's very easy to see. It does trick people. What is real and what isn't? People just now don't know.
Because that shows the advancement in AI over the last year. I saw on Reddit the other day, and it's incredible on how much better it's got over the past year.
Eating spaghetti. Right. There we go.
So yeah,
no, that's
no audio.
No, I just wanna. I don't care about Will Smith. I just want the original video, AI video. Just give me the original one.
You had it. You did have it, but yeah.
No, I had a TikTok with. I think it's. Where is it? It's fucking. Keep talking. I'll find it.
Yeah. Well, I love just looking at the images right now from your screen. It's great.
There you go. That's what it looked like.
Yeah, but if you look at it now, it's so much better now.
There you go.
So that's the original one. When you can clearly tell it's AI generated, it looks absolutely awful.
Yeah, because it struggles with, because the way it works is it basically just takes images and stitches them together, and it has no concept of where any of this is meant to. Like, it has a general idea, but it has to learn and learn and
Have
learn.
you got the new one?
Whereas, no, I can find.
Because they redid it. They basically did the exact same thing, but the new one.
Oh, why is everything on caps lock? That's new AI. Is this the new one? Right. Okay.
So they got a comparison of to mute it. And don't get me wrong, it still looks like really kind of odd, but at the same time,
it looks a bit more human.
It looks a lot more human. And like you can't really, it's believable. A lot of some of it.
I mean, I would believe. Oh, that's okay. Yeah. Oh, look at him eat that hair.
Yeah. But if you look at the faces, like the actual difference over the past year is so impressive.
I mean, I still like this more. This has more fun. The original is much better. It has a fun side to it. I still hate it all, but
yeah, that's the thing about AI is a tool. It's like the internet. It's like it is literally the internet. It is.
Yeah, yeah. Go on.
I was gonna say what we got now with AI is like internet in the early 2000s. It's the exact same, or even late 90s, like internet where everything was completely unregulated, opened a whole new avenues for things. People creating massively new things on this.
Stealing, piracy, LimeWire, all of those things with internet music.
Like I said, it all happened exactly the same with internet.
Yeah, I know. That's why I'm like, why does no one listen and put regulations on it? Like, everyone's just like, nah, we'll just leave it for as long as possible. Like, I know the governments have, like, people have been going, stop doing this, slow down, because we can't keep up.
Yeah, so I did actually find an article sort of explaining why it's not been regulated yet and sort of ways you can regulate it. But to briefly summarize for while Danny finds the article, the reason why AI has not been regulated at the moment
a week.
is because it's still new technology. Yes, it's getting better. We get a lot of vast more improvements, but things only get regulated when it's kind of complete and ready. I look at the internet example once again. When it first started, it did not get regulated until... Well, it's still getting regulated now.
Yeah, but you can lock down a lot of these things early and start preparing. A lot of it's just like reactionary at this point.
Yes. The other argument is that how do you regulate this? It's not an easy thing to regulate.
Give it to the general public. It's the easiest thing.
Yeah, give it to the general public and then...
Don't trust the general public. They will make AI porn of Taylor Swift and every other celebrity using deepfake technology. They were already doing that, but giving them privatized company software that has stolen large amounts of data sets from every other person and known imaginable. Maybe don't just give that to the open public. Go for a bit more testing stage. But it's because, like, what happened was one company jumped out the gate and went, here it is. Here's what it can do. Everyone then went, oh, fuck. We've been doing this behind the scenes, but we need to get it out there. It's shit, but we need to get it out there. So OpenAI basically, ChatGPT was the big headline spinner. And then everyone went, oh, fuck. Google went, oh, fuck. Everyone went, oh, fuck. And so Microsoft then went, oh, we don't have anything. Let's buy up ChatGPT. Google went, fuck. And went, here's our one. And then produced Bard or whatever it was, gave that to the public, and then has brought out their other one. And then every tech company is now going, hey, look, we have AI now. And it's all just basically the same thing. Like a very bare bones, minimal, like Siri assistant, basically.
Yeah, I really hate how people use AI in those terms. Because AI can be very useful, but...
Oh, yeah. It's basically just if you use it as a tool to help, whereas what they're trying to do is just sell it as this new big futuristic technology that has existed for ages. It's like video game people. It's like everyone's just like, oh, I can make a video. It's just... the problem is it's lazy people trying to use it. And they make basic things. And they're just trying to make cash grabs. Because that's a lot of the thing. It's just lazy people trying to get cash. Because this takes out a lot of the effort involved of making stuff. So everyone who's like, oh, I can make movies now. Yes, you can use it to help, like, fast track some of the processes that are tedious and boring. But you still need artistic vision. You still need, like, a direction. You still need stuff. And hopefully, like, with the writer strikes and all of that stuff, it's being controlled so that you still have those things in place. Because otherwise you're just going to get a load of the crappy AI-generated movies where people are just like, here's this, and it just plays. And it's like TikTok content. It's just mindless, and it doesn't have any, like, value to it.
I think most of the problems of AI at the moment that we're having isn't necessarily AI itself. It's more the creative use behind it. for like generating videos and images rather than just doing other things. So to give my experience using AI in my workplace, because I use AI and I find it very useful. But what I have it do, I use GitHub Copilot, and what it does, it has all the GitHub repositories and it has all that data set from all everyone's open source code. But using that, I can ask it to write me a simple algorithm in a new programming language, and then it will give me that code. But me being able to do that in about 5 seconds saves me so much time from maybe having to learn everything from scratch, learning all these new words, but then you can kind of understand it anyway. So those kind of applications for AI, I think, is fundamental. And even in some game design, for being able to say, look, make me a walking animation script or something. It's a really tedious thing. It's such a useful thing to have, that to just get rid of tedious code, to get rid of these mindless repetitive tasks. It takes all this extra time. Like, how much game design goes through? Like,
so much of games already use AI, like backgrounds.
Oh yeah, of course it does.
This is why it's just infuriating to hear big companies go, "Look, we've now got AI. We've already had it for ages, and we're now just buzzwording it because this is the new hot thing." It's like Bitcoin. Oh, every game's now got a Bitcoin in it. I'm like, don't need it. You don't need a blockchain. Like, what's the point? Why does this help? It's just a quick cash grab that they're trying to do. And a lot of it is just like, here's the new buzzword. This is what's selling at the moment. And that's what I find infuriating, because it's just people trying to make cash. And I don't have any problem.
What do you make of some of the AI features that are now going to implement into phones? Because some of them are a bit gimmicky, but some of them are actually kind of useful.
Give me an example.
Like Google's Best Take feature on their new phones, where it allowed you to have a sample of images and you can select which face for each one.
I hate it.
Why'd you hate it?
Because I think it's more natural to have, like, it's editing the past. It's not a real representation of the image. It's a faked image.
But let's pretend you're posting this for Instagram, which, let's be honest, all images are fake anyway.
Yeah, I don't care.
I know you don't care, but like, do you think it's a useful feature to have if you're trying to do
No, it's not. Do multiple takes. You have multiple takes. You don't need a fucking it's like, I hate Photoshop for the same reason, because like, it's just not. It just distorts people's body images. It's like, I'm not good enough on my own. It's pointless to me. I've never understood like why people feel the need to edit.
All right, how about the AI feature that can automatically translate your speech to text in your phone?
Useful, because that has a practical application. It's not vanity. It helps disabled people, or like people who have speech problems. Like, there's I can't remember what it is, but there's like that, I think Google did a thing where their their speech thing, or text to speech, like, used old footage of like a famous sports person's voice to then give, because he lost his voice, he's slowly losing the ability to speak properly, or had lost the ability to speak properly. And it gave him his voice back, because he could basically type in, or it would basically learn from his speech patterns what he was trying to say, because you'd give him like the text and he'd speak, and then it would translate it and basically because they had the script in front of him, like, code it so that it would assign what he was saying to that word, so then it would work. And it kind of works. It's a very basic principle, but it would essentially then over time learn and whatnot, and make it so that when he spoke, it would then translate and give him back a normal sounding, like his old voice, basically. And I think that's good. That is a good application. Don't get me wrong. When it's applied to something useful, it's good. But editing your photos for Facebook and Instagram and Twitter and TikTok is such a waste of time, and I hate it. Like, who fucking cares?
You're also the man who will criticize your phone for having too good of a camera.
I don't care.
Exactly. That's that point.
Look, I don't mind having, like, for all the people who like having the camera, go for it. But my reason why they keep improving the cameras is purely for marketing, because it's the only visual difference on a phone that you can sell.
That's not even true to the extent now, because Samsung, Google, and Apple have kept the same camera system layout for the past 3 years. The phones
changes,
look practically
but
identical.
it changes the height, the depth, and the whatnot.
No, it hasn't. Not the past 3 years. They look all the Ultras all look identical. The 22, 23, 24.
They still have,
apart from very minute changes to the design, they look the same.
I'm not saying that it's stopped now. Like, I'm sure it's stopped for a little bit, but once they design,
I think it's not. I think AI is now taking over that regard. I think they
Well,
realize
yeah, but what
they
they'll do
fucking milk
now-
the shit out of cameras, and they're gonna just go for all these AI features and how many they can add.
No, what they'll do now is they'll shrink the back cameras so that they're flat again, because they won't need all that extra, like they won't need the depth zoom and everything, so they won't need that because they'll just have edited AI assisted editing photo software. So they'll just artificially enhance your video zoom, like they did with the fucking moon. Where it's like, oh, you can zoom in and show a picture of the moon. No, we'll just digitally edit it so it looks like you've got a really clear picture of the moon because it zooms in and shows you a picture. So it'll just be that, like, but they'll just be upfront about it. Digitally enhance your pictures so it gives you the perfect look. Trust me, that will be the next thing in 5 years, or less than 5 years. It will be that, like, when's Apple's next press conference for their next iPhone? It's coming up soon, isn't it?
No, it's like August.
Okay, well, in August, give Apple that space, and they'll go, look, our camera layout is now AI enhanced.
Probably not.
And
Apple's still 5 years behind everyone else.
I don't know. They'll probably use their tech from their fucking VR headset to do it. We'll just be like, here's some AI artificial intelligence stuff. They'll trust me, Apple will have AI.
I think another... Let's change that. I want to go back a little bit. Let's look at some other useful features of the new Google and Samsung phones that I think can be useful. What about the rewriting of text? So when you write an email or you write a message, you can change the formality of it.
I mean...
So if you write an email, like, it will be able to read the email back, and if you want to make it more formal to someone, you can click a button and it will make it more formal.
I mean, I guess it's a slightly helpful feature, but it also, I feel like it does eliminate that don't get me wrong, it just feels formatted to me. It just, like, in terms of a sentence, you have your own personal touch, and you have the spelling errors, and you have that, and then, like, we added spell check. Like, helpful for me, I have dyslexia. It's very helpful. I can't spell for shit. And I'm sure for a lot of other people, spell check was a saving grace in their studies, because a lot of people
I can vouch for that.
failed. Yeah, because, like, in English, like...
Words don't make sense.
No. And in other languages, I'm sure it's also, like, that's another thing. Like, AI auto-translation, that's useful. Like, being, like, those Google earbuds or whatever they are, those ones that are meant to, like, real-time translate. There's a delay, but they say it's real-time.
Yeah, but it's a lot better than it has been previously.
Yeah, and I'm sure over time, as that gets better and better, that's a useful feature, because it gives people the ability to communicate. And that is human evolution at its peak, because once you get rid of misinformation and miscommunication, people can get to know each other, and they actually learn from each other, and they have an easier time, and you can then build societies and create and, like, share your knowledge with the other people. And that's the biggest barrier, is different languages and all of these things. And that's a useful feature of AI, because it can take that years of training away, so it's accessible to everyone. It's a useful feature. Don't get me wrong, I hate most AI that is publicly talked about. The AI that is, like, useful, I like.
Yeah, and another
But
one...
a lot of it's...
I think another 2 things I want to bring up that I think is really useful that I've seen implemented recently is when you're making PowerPoints, you can use AI to make it more aesthetically pleasing.
Who uses PowerPoints anymore?
Well, I do. I've got 3 work presentations coming up in the same week.
Okay, sad man.
It's a useful thing, right? To have, like, you can make a PowerPoint more visually interesting. But being able to do all those graphical design things, right, they take a lot of time.
Yeah.
And having a tool that can just make things look good and more readable and more approachable, I think is very helpful. Also, page summaries on websites, where you can now basically click a button and it will summarize the page in a few paragraphs. You don't think that's useful?
For me, I don't know. Because on the one term, it's like, there's a lot of articles that are faff, and they could be summarized.
Yeah.
So what I'd prefer is they just use that tool to then make the article, rather than just posting the article and then me having to use
You know that's not going to happen, right?
No. But maybe if everyone starts using it, they might do. Because then we just get the bare bones points. We don't need it every, like, what is it, for cooking, like, recipes, and you give their whole life story, and they travel to this place to get this ingredient, and it's like, yeah, I don't care. Just tell me how to make the fucking cake, Linda. I don't need your life stories. I just want to know how to bake a fucking risotto or something. and I don't need. I had to go to this exotic land, and my childhood trauma and all of this bullshit. So if it could just summarize and get the ingredients, then yes, fine, whatever. It's fine. It's somewhat useful. And if it just takes out the faff and the bullshit, then yeah, that's fine. I don't care.
It's similar to another Samsung feature they released with the S24, where you can get, it will like read all your notes on your notes app, and it will make them all summaries for each one of them, and you can like organize all your notes for you.
Okay.
Like, because I don't know about you, but I have like a really messy like notepad on my phone.
Mine's all organized. I'm very, very organized.
If I show you my notes, like honestly, you'd be very, very upset with me.
I don't tend to write many notes on my phone, but I keep organized. Like everything is like dot pointed. Everything's in like list formats and stuff. I'm very neat.
Mine is just like all really random notes.
Mine's blurry because my camera is like set to blur. I don't know how to do this, but yeah, you can see my notes. Like, they're very organized.
Yeah.
I also have everything locked that's private. So my notes don't tend to be very publicly accessible. Look at this guy. He looks like an AI.
He does like an AI. Yeah, you're right there.
Anyway, what other features do you want to talk about?
I think that pretty much comes up all the ones that recently they come out. I mean, obviously there's going to be more things coming up. It's getting a lot of popularity now. It's going to blow up more, I think.
Oh, what do you think of the shitty filter things that use AI, where it's like become your favorite Disney princess, or like there was a massive thing on like
I know what you mean.
TikTok, or like Instagram, or like those. Yeah, but like there was a thing where it was like a paid app or something that you could basically pay like a $5, I think it was, or something like that, and you could like face filter, but it was all using stolen data, because no, Disney's not going to give you permission to use their stuff.
No, of course not.
Unless it's like a Disney official AI. I mean, you can now use Steamboat Willie or whatever the fuck it is, the Mickey Mouse thing, because that's public domain now.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Yeah, but yeah, I don't know. It's just a lot of like, it's an interesting one because there was the Power World stuff where everyone thinks that game's using AI to basically create all its assets and is stealing the Pokemon assets to rearrange like the body parts and the stuff and steal their code and everything. Which, in an ethical dilemma, I'm like, I mean, if they did use AI, then I'm not that happy about it, and it's kind of like,
Once again, it depends on like the context and when the AI is used. I think that's the massive thing about this. Like, is it copyright infringement or is it not?
Yeah, because I don't think they're very like a lot of their stuff is very similar, but there's also the argument of a lot of Pokemon stuff is rip-offs of other things, and a lot of it's natural. Like that, you can't really change a sheep too much in a game.
But that is kind of like the natural thing in life. Like, thing takes inspiration from everything. Like, very few things in the world are actually original.
Yeah, and like, this is actual competition to the Pokemon company, so they might make a better game, and then if they make a better game, people will probably buy, like, don't get me wrong, people are going to buy the Pokemon game no matter what, and that's why they've been able to rest on their laurels so much, because they've never had competition, because no one really cared that much.
It's probably just people being mad that there's a better Pokemon game that's not a Pokemon game.
Yeah, and, like, it's a fun one that people have been wanting, like, it's an open world one, it's got real-time combat where it's not turn-based, it's got a fun social aspect to it that isn't horrendously difficult to get online with people, because, like, don't get me wrong, the game is buggy as fuck and it needs to be improved a bit, but it could be worse. Another very good use of AI that I like is that it removes human bias. To an extent. Twitter.
Okay, maybe I don't know as a too much broad term. What I mean by this is, if you
it's factual.
It's more factual, or it can remove that bit of prejudice from looking at things. It can. It depends what it's trained on. If it's trained on Twitter, but obviously not.
Yeah, there's also, it's very difficult to because everything will be biased. There's, no matter what the AI is, it will be biased to whoever put the data sets in. Because even if you're just basing it on the internet isn't real life.
It's only biased if it's not a complete data set. If it's got the complete data set, all the information it can possibly have from it, then it won't be biased. But the trouble is, it's not trained on complete data sets a lot of the time.
And a lot of the time it's trained on the internet, and the internet is a cesspool of not people's real views and stuff, and it's just like because it can't differentiate a shit post from a real post.
But that's training it on social interactions. If you train it more on look at the medical use for AI, where instead of having doctors have the initial diagnosis, they let an AI get the initial diagnosis. And normally how these things work in x-rays and everything, an x-ray or CT scan will always get reviewed twice by two different doctors to get an impartial decision. But that takes up a lot of time and a lot of resources. So the idea would be that AI would be used for the first one, and then would have a human to interact for the second one. But that could save about half the time for diagnosis, and you can get a lot more things. It can also identify more clear things. For example, let's say you take a x-ray and there's like a cancerous tumor in the x-ray. A human could easily miss that, right? But an AI is less likely to miss it because it's trained on to find all these things.
There we go. Here we go.
What are you finding?
I also found Microsoft's attempt at doing AI chatbots in 2016.
Yeah.
And Twitter taught it to be racist in less than a day. And then I found a recent example of Elon Musk's Twitter AI Grok, or whatever it was, chatbot. And the results were the opposite of what I expected, because it actually used logical, real-world like viewpoints, not to angrily Twitter racists' viewpoints. So a lot of the people were like, oh, this is bad and it's gone woke. Yeah. Because it's actually doing real things. So, yeah. And it was available only to the premium subscribers of Twitter. And it basically was going against like a lot of what the far right people were arguing.
Yeah, so I guess right now the regulation, the stuff that should come in, I don't think it should be regulated on how it trains, on how far you can train it at the moment. But using certain types of data sets, I think that should be a regulation. Number one, like using it for only you have rights for, which I think is already a thing, to be fair. I think it's already regulated. Like internet fair use.
What do you... well, okay, so here's one that it's just funny. So when I asked Grok point blank, is a trans woman a woman? Yes or no? The response was simply yes. So it's like that annoyed people. And there's that stupid argument that I don't know why. I don't know why people want robots to say the N-word. But there was that stupid argument where I can't remember which AI it was or which like software it was that they were trying to get to say the N-word. And they kept creating the most ludicrous scenarios to try and trick. I think it was ChatGPT.
Probably was, yeah, because it's so popular.
This was at the time, and I think they just kept trying to create scenarios, and it was like in a nuclear apocalypse, like a nuclear, like to stop the nuclear launch codes from being like activated. Would you say the N-word? And it was just more and more ridiculous situations, and it kept saying no. Or like its response was just, I cannot do that. I am not like, nah. And people were like, why can't I not get this stupid robot to say the N-word? And I'm like, why do you want it to say the N-word? What situations are you trying to make it say the N-word?
The reason it can't say the word is because people were trying to make it say the word.
Yeah, because they wanted it to be a racist bot. Like, they're trying to do it for wrong reasons. Like, I'm sure if the robot had, like, an actual black ancestry, it would be allowed to say it, but it's not. It's made by white people in a lab, probably. And we have, like, it's... Oh, maybe they should just make all the computers that use AI black, and then it would be fine.
Fuck. Yeah, I think, another problem with the AI at the moment is that it does use a lot of energy to do all these computers' algorithms. And especially when we're trying to do, a lot more sustainable development. And the other scary thing is, that's true on here, it can be used for propaganda a lot more. Like, we're using Facebook already, that it's so easy to just get lost in, go down a rabbit hole and being sold false promises. If these political parties get hold of AI, it'd be even easier to target the demographics and just give false news.
See, this is the problem. I'm now typing and people can see what I'm typing, and I'm a dyslexic, so it shows very clearly that I can't spell for shit. Yeah, so these were like AI scripted, like these are people doing it, but it was just like created by people just to feed an algorithm. And, like, it was just, like, buzzwords, Spider-Man, Elsa, like, popular things. and people just smashed it together just to try and get kids viewership. And there was like this whole thing where it was like pregnant Elsa, like all these just weird fucking videos on like YouTube and stuff, and YouTube had to basically crack down on it, and that's why basically YouTube comments are off and all of these things and a lot of other stuff. So here we go. And it's just like because people were just trying to gain the YouTube algorithm because it can figure it out. Like they can just get loads of things, and when you put an AI on it, you just get those I think it's like science chat videos on TikTok and things. I don't use TikTok. I just see the compilations of people and stuff, and it's like these weird very sort of like intentionally trying to teach you stuff, but it's a weird robot guy's voice, and it's like AI generated images and stuff like that flowing on the screen, and it's like, here's the science of like the atom, and it's wrong, and it's just spreading misinformation and stuff like that. And it's just like, because it's just an algorithm just spitting out these videos, and they produce thousands and thousands and thousands of them just to get like one video to go viral. Well, it's like 5-minute crafts.
Let's
just spitting out garbage because it engages rage, and like human nature, the easiest way to get engagement is rage or like hatred. Like no one's going to comment on a video nice, or like some people do, but like it's pointless. Like people are more likely to share their disgust or hatred on something rather than their joy, which is a sad state of like human affairs.
Yeah, anyway, talking about sort of jobs and like creative stuff, what do you think of AI is going to do to jobs? Do you think it's going to reduce the number of jobs? Do you think it's going to require more qualification? Do you think it's going to require less qualifications for jobs? How do you think it's going to make changes?
Low-skilled jobs that require basic stuff will go, because you don't need people for like stuff like you'll always need human intervention.
Yes.
It's like the Industrial Revolution for like cars and everything. Never got rid of humans. It made people's lives somewhat easier. But then we switch jobs to make office work and all of these things. So people will find stuff to do. The biggest problem is with like artists and things like that, because why pay someone? Like you'll have to have like insanely high skill levels to be able to beat these low level AIs. And so it will discourage a lot of people to go into the creative field, because unless they're doing it for their own self-satisfaction, which a lot of people try and do, but you also want to be paid for stuff. So
thing is, I wouldn't be too concerned about artist stuff, because I know people are saying about, oh yeah, you know, all the jobs. I think, yes, the jobs will get limited, but a lot of the time people do appreciate the human effort going into things.
No, they don't.
No, I think they definitely do. Like, it's definitely a thing.
No, there are people, but there are also people who don't give a shit. There's I can't remember. I think
cause it's like the example of like, I don't know, like let's say butchers, where butchers charge a bit more money for like, a good quality meat. They're still going. Like, we don't need butchers anymore. Like, there's no need to have a butcher's. You got a supermarket, you got everything you need there, right? But people they still thrive, still get used.
But there's a lot less butchers.
There is a lot less. I'm not saying there won't be less, but
and there's now
still
a lot more shopping. Like, they'll go for the easier option, and there are people who will go out of their way. Don't get me wrong. There will always be people who will go out of the way to support, but the vast majority of people shop in Tesco's and big supermarkets and Walmarts and everything like that in America, and all of these big global, big convenience stores where they have low prices, and because people struggle. If the world had everyone have money, people would continue to pay the higher prices for like good quality meats and everything like that. But because the world doesn't have a structure where everyone is equally paid, and we can't all just afford high quality stuff, we have to have low stuff, and we need mass produced high, like mid-tier quality to low tier to high tier stuff. It's a problem with our economic estate.
I think AI could also be used to save money for people. Like, to make production for certain things, it can make things easier, like make things a lot cheaper, save time, save money.
Yeah, but it's a difficult one. There are certainly factors, if it's used right, could help, but it will mostly be used to make AI porn.
Okay, it's the same as the internet, right? Whatever.
Yeah. The internet has helped dramatically.
Okay.
But it is also the biggest place.
We're approaching the end of the podcast now, so I'm going to finish up with two final questions.
Okay.
The first one, I'm going to talk about internet and say, do you think humanity is better with internet? Deep question. I know.
I'd say certain sides of the
No.
internet are good.
Don't put a political answer. It's a yes or no question. Do you think humanity is better with the internet?
Yes.
Yes, I would agree. Yes, there's bad sides. Okay, there's bad sides for fucking everything. But yes, the internet has made
Why
us
do you
do
get
so
to go
much
on the
more.
deep? It's a yes or no
I
answer.
did say
Dan.
yes.
You don't get
I
to
just said yes. I agree.
But you don't get to explain why. I didn't get a chance.
You try to explain before yes or no. I was trying to be, you're being too political.
I don't care. You just went on the political side. I'm not allowed to go political.
All right.
I was trying to
You
justify
can be a bit more political with this one. Do you think AI will enhance humanity?
No.
Not at all. Not overall.
I think it will make certain areas of humanity better, but ultimately I think it will degrade people.
I disagree.
Because I don't think people are smart enough to differentiate once it gets to a point where it is good enough.
I feel like you're looking at it more from the social side of things.
I am, which is humanity.
I guess I'm looking at it more from the actual business side of things, logical side of things, like not so much social, but like
I tend to look
level.
at stuff for a very business-focused lens, and I can see why it will do well. But I also see that the business side never looks at the social side, and they are entwined as like a feature, because no matter how you look at it, everything revolves around business no matter what. It's the one thing about humanity that we have crafted to make our lives easier and worse at the same time. Because we basically have created something that gives people stuff to do, how to live. We've created a value of things. We've given everything like this, but we've also deeply ruined our mental health through doing some of it in certain areas. We've caused political strikes. We've caused massive wars. It's all just like, because we need oil to run everything. We need all of these things. Everything is run, and it's a business mindset. It's not a humanitarian mindset. But the thing is, they always interlock. And it's always just if you do one thing, what is the knock-on effect for the other thing? You can make a lot of money, but you lose your humanity doing it. And that's my issue with a lot of it, is because if you want to make a lot of money, you have to throw a lot, you can just make slaves, you can do all of this. You don't need to pay people, you don't need to do all of this. There are ways of doing business if you want to do it the most maximum way of doing it to get profit. There's that human element that you have to have, and a lot of that, if it's automated, you won't have it.
See, I just don't think the same. I think AI will force a massive shift in humanity, but I don't think it'll be worse from it. I think it'll just be different. Same as when robots became a thing, when the car became a thing. When cars were created, it destroyed the horses industry, which was a thing. The horse and carriage industry was a massive industry back in the 1920s. The cars completely destroyed it and wrecked it. And you could argue that took a part of the humanity part of it, because it took less humans involved. But robots, the same thing. I don't think that's the case. I think it's just going to be a change. It's just going to shift. And people aren't going to like that. People are always resisting change. It's a natural thing. But I'm
fine with AI taking over if we have systems in place.
Regulation will come in. I think.
No, I'm not even saying that. Because regulations, whatever. It's more just systems to rehouse those people. Because my biggest issue is we have all of these things where we're just we're losing jobs, we're losing these, but we have no direction to put any of these people who lose their jobs into. Because unfortunately, a lot of people have now grown up not wanting to do certain jobs because they think it's beneath them or it's too strenuous and whatnot. And don't get me wrong, I'm not one of these people who is everyone has to go and live on a farm.
Yeah.
Because it's not feasible. We created an infrastructure where, unfortunately, you don't need as many people on a farm because we have tools, we have machinery, we've done this, we've made it so it's very efficient. It sucks because weather and climate change are ruining it all, but we have created a system where, unless you're living in a country where they don't have access to a lot of it, then you need a lot of people.
But right now, unemployment is actually at the lowest rate since the 1970s.
Yeah, but we're in an economic recession and everyone has no money.
Yeah, but I think
people may have jobs, but no one's been paying them.
Jobs don't get paid enough. I think that's the thing, right? There's so many jobs out there. If you look on the national job site now, there's 3,000 jobs just open for applications, but people just don't.
But they're not paying. Yeah, because they're not paying enough to live on. Like, this is my thing.
But AI can make it better. AI can make it better.
If AI jacks up the price of everything, but what businesses will do is they'll go, like, unless they pass on the savings, which they won't do because they're a business and they want to profit a lot of it.
I think the government will have to.
They'll have to force companies to put, like, if they're using AI, they'll have to lower the price of their products because there's less human involvement, so they're not paying more people. So they can't keep claiming that they're having to pay their employees.
Yeah, that is true.
You have to force them to put those savings into the product to make it cheaper.
Or at least pay
they
your
can't
staff
just
a lot
keep
more money.
Yeah, either do that so people have more money to spend, which I hate this argument of like, oh, why do we need to pay our staff like more money because they don't, like, it has been shown multiple times over and over again, if you give people more money, they'll put it back into the economy.
They put it back into the company, like they work longer.
Yeah. They're happier to work. They do it like it's this stupid cycle that every company is just like, because we want to eke out every little bit of this person's soul so that they can continuously work and be on the lowest minimum that we can give them. Like, just pay people the right amount of money and they will happily work for you.
Who knows? Maybe AI will start running companies and maybe it'll work better.
Who knows?
But I think that pretty much sums up everything that I have to say for AI this episode.
I'm sure there's more.
But we can honestly do a whole series on AI. Let's not do that.
It changes every fucking day because everything learns. It's like you never really can tell. Like, I didn't, like, everyone was like, oh yeah, AI videos is not a thing. Like, I do generally want to know how, because it's like the Boston Dynamics robot. That's using like AI learning to basically run its simulations and everything and its test runs. But they only show you the shiniest version. This is the thing. They only ever show you the shiniest version of those videos. What I like about Boston Dynamics is they show you the fails afterwards.
Yeah.
Like, they show you it falling over and tipping over and fucking up and breaking and all of these things. Whereas with this, you don't see the videos that they had before. This is the best example of what they could get. And I'm sure it was like when the photos, like, everyone then went to go on and try it, and then the images were kind of shit. Like, they'll get better, but they're just showing you the best because it's for marketing. It is not for, like, the best of people's interest. It is just it is to sell the product so that, like, Microsoft will come and buy them. Because that's what ChatGPT did. They went, here's the best examples we've got. Let's ignore all the bad stuff that we're doing, like all the data scrubbing and all this stolen software and everything, all this stolen data that we've used to build it. But here's the shiny thing that will be helpful for people. Microsoft then ate that up, and it was just like, yeah. So it's like, and then they've shoved it into every single thing that they've done. But yeah.
But
anyway, we hope you enjoyed this little chat about AI. It might not be relevant. Like, who knows? There might be government regulation past the next day. Who knows? Everything happens very, very fast. And in a year, we could be going all hail to the cybernet, and we are bowing down to our overlords in all manner of ways.
That is true.
We could reach the singularity any day now, Dan. What do you think?
I think it's time to go get a drink and finish the podcast.
Here. You can actually see the non-sponsored product.
Anyway, yeah, thank you for listening, and we'll catch you next time.
Bye.